How to get the best dark tones. Part 3. In part 1 I compared standard graphite with Staedtler's carbon pencils to show how good they are at getting good dark tones with a matte finish. Then in part 2 I compared the Staedtler carbon pencils with the Faber Castell Pitt graphite matte. Both pencils are designed for the same purpose and they came out looking pretty much identical. Here in part 3 I'm thinking outside the box, and I'm going to be using a black Faber Castell Polychromos coloring pencil to see how well it mixes with standard graphite. I'm struggling to figure out how these two mediums could combine successfully, but then I guess that's the point of the video. Let's get into it. We start the drawing off with this really big area of black, and immediately you can see how easy it is to get consistent dark tones. Faber Castell's Polychromos pencils are my go-to coloring pencil. They are great quality, and this is a really nice black pencil. This is a nice area to start with. It's a big dark area with no tonal changes and it really helps to lay out the start of this drawing. Moving on to the background, I'm using Derwent graphite pencils. They are just standard graphite, so we should be able to get a nice clear comparison. They are the same graphite pencils I've used since I started drawing, so I don't know how they'd compare to other brands of graphite, but they've always felt and looked good to me. It's a simple background with a nice range of tones. The darkest tones didn't come out as dark as I would have liked, but then that's to be expected with graphite, and is also the whole point of this video. As we go back to the helmet, you can start to see how nicely the contrast between the black pencil and the graphite pencils work. I wasn't sure what to expect from this combination of pencils, but I liked how it was coming together. The darkest areas in this image don't have a lot of gradients to them, so the change from dark to lighter is very sudden, and almost gives it an inked look, like a comic book. This is the first full drawing I've drawn since late last year, so I'm a little out of practice, but I got back into the feel of it soon enough. For this darker patch on this half of his helmet, I tried to blend the black color pencil and the graphite pencils together in the same area. I found this quite difficult. It didn't feel very comfortable to mix them together in the same spot. But I think the result I got still looked good. Despite the difficulties I felt like I was having when mixing these pencils together, the black Polychromos did a great job of getting that nice dark tone in the middle of this area. After another large dark area, I work on the highlights with the graphite pencils. This drawing was quite a quick one thanks to how much of it was just straight black. It took about 11.5 hours, which isn't long compared to a lot of my drawings. I like the area here under the eye. Reflective and metallic materials can be quite a fun thing to draw. If you're enjoying this video or if it helped you at all, remember to like and subscribe to see more in the future. And let me know if there's anything you'd like me to try to teach. Now on to the bottom of the drawing. It was pretty simple. Basic block areas with small soft gradient patches of slightly darker tones. And on the other side of his chest I tried to mark out the darker details first with the Polychromos, and then filled the rest of the area with the graphite pencils. The darker graphite tones here look really nice next to the solid black details that I got from the Polychromos pencil. I did the same thing here, but tried going over some of the darker graphite area with the Polychromos pencil to try to create more of a gradient. Again, it wasn't the most comfortable medium combination I've ever used, but the results are really nice. Then I finish off his shoulder with a nice big consistent dark patch, before finishing the background with graphite. So here's the finished drawing. I'm a little out of practice, so it might not be quite as smooth as it could have been. It wasn't the most comfortable combinations of mediums to use. I struggled a bit in the gradient areas between the coloring pencil and the graphite. But the results are still really good. The dark tones are super dark and really stand out just how I wanted them to. However, when compared with some examples of using the Steadtler carbon pencils I typically use for dark tones, they don't actually seem to make a huge difference. Their dark tones are a little darker and a bit more consistent with the black coloring pencil, as you'd imagine, but generally they both achieve a very similar level of darkness. And I personally found the Steadtlers to be more comfortable to mix with graphite. And from this angle the Polychromos perhaps has slightly less shine, but it's not a drastic difference. So all in all, a black Faber Castell Polychromos pencil works really well for dark tones and graphite drawings. But I don't find it as comfortable to use with graphite, and for me personally I wouldn't really say the results are that much better than with a carbon pencil. But then the point of this video was to show you the difference so you can figure out what you think. Do you like the results? Is this something you'll be giving a go? Let me know down below. And I'll hopefully see you in the next video.